Linus Pauling was shocked. One spoon of this vitamin kills diseases in 24 hours. What if one small step taken in your daily routine could spark a revolution in the way you feel? Almost as though you had tapped into an elusive secret to supercharge your body's natural defenses. This idea might sound like science fiction, yet Linus Pauling, a two-time Nobel Prize winner and one of the most esteemed chemists of the 20th century, spent decades advocating a simple yet radical notion. The right dose of the right vitamin could dramatically support the body, perhaps in ways we still don't fully appreciate. In the flurry of media excitement that surrounded his claims, headlines blared about miraculous cures and disease-killing power in record time. Of course, many in the scientific community debated the extent of these claims, but Pauling's enthusiasm was unwavering. He believed that there might be a game-changing element in a common nutrient we often overlook. Today, we're going to embark on an extraordinary journey through the science, controversies, history, and potential wonders that sprout from Pauling's ideas about a particular vitamin. And if you read all the way to the end, you'll discover a surprising application that some proponents say can intensify its effect, perhaps beyond anything you've tried before. Linus Pauling was no fringe scientist shouting at the wind. He was, in fact, among the most eminent chemists in modern history, awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1954 for his groundbreaking work on the nature of chemical bonds. Later, in 1962, he was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize for his tireless activism against nuclear weapons testing. So when someone of Pauling's stature made bold statements about nutrition and disease, the world paid attention, some with excitement, some with skepticism. By the late 1960s, he began to champion the idea that very high doses of vitamin C might bolster the immune system, among other benefits, and he dove headlong into research and public outreach on the subject. But how did this astonishing claim, "One spoon of this vitamin kills diseases in 24 hours," gain traction? Although it's important to note that such a statement is more of a sensationalized headline than a scientific conclusion, it does reflect the fervor around Pauling's work. At a time when antibiotics were heralded as silver bullets and newly emerging vaccines were transforming public health, Pauling's contention that a natural substance, found in citrus fruits and many vegetables, could match or even exceed synthetic drugs in certain contexts was both thrilling and controversial. According to Pauling, vitamin C, if taken in sufficiently large doses and under the right circumstances, could potentially shorten the duration of common ailments like colds. He also speculated about benefits in other conditions, although subsequent research had varying results. Still, the interest he sparked continues today. Some of the excitement arises from how vitamin C functions in the body. It's a potent antioxidant that helps protect cells against damaging free radicals, and it plays critical roles in collagen production, wound healing, and immune cell function. For a vitamin so ubiquitous, one found in oranges, peppers, berries, and supplements, it carries a surprising range of tasks within our biology. Perhaps that's what fueled Pauling's vision. If something so common, cheap, and easily accessible could be harnessed strategically, maybe it could do more than we ever expected. That dream inspired a legion of followers. It also sparked a wave of scientific scrutiny, attempting to replicate or refute the broad therapeutic claims. To fully appreciate Linus Pauling's fascination, we need to step back and look at his relentless curiosity. He was never afraid to go against the grain if he believed the data pointed in a certain direction. In many ways, his approach exemplified the quintessential scientist: gather evidence, interpret it according to the best available methods, and remain open to the possibility that the conventional wisdom might be incomplete or wrong. While many of his peers admired his genius in chemistry and peace advocacy, some were skeptical of his later nutritional claims, calling them overreaching or anecdotal. Nevertheless, Pauling insisted that the modern diet often leaves people at suboptimal levels of vitamin C, far below what the body might need in times of stress or illness. His argument was that the recommended daily allowances, RDAs, were merely to prevent deficiency diseases like scurvy, not to optimize health or fight diseases aggressively. It's also key to understand that Pauling wasn't only talking about vitamin C in isolation. He laid out a broader concept known as orthomolecular medicine, which proposed preventing and treating disease by providing the body with optimal amounts of substances that are natural to the body's biochemistry. Vitamin C was just the star of the show, shining brightest in Pauling's public discussions. According to the orthomolecular viewpoint, health problems could often be traced to imbalances or deficiencies in essential nutrients. Adjust those levels, and you might see beneficial changes, even to the extent some supporters claim of warding off or rapidly mitigating certain illnesses. Let's pause to consider the extraordinary question behind the sensational headlines. Can large amounts of a single vitamin really kill diseases in a matter of hours? Even the most devoted Pauling admirers would likely caution that it's an oversimplification. Diseases vary greatly in their nature, and our immune response is multifaceted. However, anecdotal reports abound of people who claim that by quickly ingesting a significant amount of vitamin C at the onset of a cold or flu, they either dodged the illness or dramatically reduced its severity. Some describe it as knocking out the virus before it can take hold. Formal studies on this phenomenon have yielded mixed results, with some showing modest benefits and others not finding significant effects. The discrepancy may stem from differences in dosage, form of vitamin C, oral versus intravenous, timing, or individual physiology. Despite the debates, a subculture remains deeply convinced that vitamin C in shock doses can lead to near-miraculous turnarounds, especially for certain infections. If you're wondering how Pauling arrived at his convictions, one pivotal point was his collaboration with Dr. Ewan Cameron in the 1970s, exploring the use of intravenous vitamin C in cancer treatment. Preliminary findings suggested an increase in survival times for certain cancer patients given high doses of vitamin C. However, further studies by the Mayo Clinic, which used oral vitamin C, did not replicate the same results, leading to controversy. The differing outcomes highlighted how route of administration and other factors matter greatly in research, leaving the topic open to debate. Even now, there's ongoing interest in intravenous vitamin C therapy for its potential synergy with conventional treatments, but it's not universally accepted as standard care. Throughout his long career, Pauling drew attention to fascinating mechanisms by which vitamin C might aid the body's defenses, including enhancing white blood cell function, acting as an antihistamine, thus potentially lessening cold symptoms and repairing tissues more efficiently. Though claiming it kills diseases in 24 hours is an exaggeration typically found in hyperbolic media coverage, it's undeniable that Pauling championed an idea that continues to provoke research. And many everyday people share anecdotes about success in staving off illnesses with Pauling-level vitamin C regimens. The question remains, is it purely placebo, or is there genuine science behind it? Often, the answer depends on who you ask and how you interpret the available data. Now, let's explore a potential everyday scenario to see what Pauling's perspective might look like. Imagine you wake up with that all-too-familiar ache in your throat, a sign that a cold may be lurking around the corner. Under a typical protocol, you might reach for over-the-counter medications that alleviate symptoms but do little to shorten the illness. In the Pauling-inspired approach, you'd flood your system with high-dose vitamin C, several grams at intervals throughout the day. Proponents claim that by doing so, you raise your blood levels of this nutrient to a point where viruses struggle to replicate, and immune cells are more effective at clearing them. If you happen to be an individual whose immune system benefits greatly from this surge, you might notice a faster recovery. If not, you may see no difference, and you'll be left questioning whether you just swallowed a lot of sour-tasting powder for nothing. Here's an intriguing consideration. Vitamin C is water-soluble, meaning excess amounts are usually excreted rather than stored. That's partly why Pauling argued frequent or large doses might be necessary, so that blood levels remain elevated long enough to have an effect. Critics point out that the body simply can't utilize or absorb beyond a certain threshold in a single serving, casting doubt on the rationale behind megadoses. Supporters counter that timing and division of doses throughout the day is crucial. The debate underscores that while vitamin C's role in health is undeniable, the optimal dosage and its capability to kill disease so quickly remain hotly contested. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever tried a high-dose vitamin C protocol? And if so, did you notice a tangible difference in how quickly you recovered from an illness? Let me know in the comments, because real-world experiences, even if anecdotal, can shed valuable light on how people respond to different regimens. It's intriguing to see how varied those responses can be. Some individuals swear by it, while others see no effect whatsoever. That polarity is part of why Pauling's vitamin claims still sit in a realm of spirited debate. Another fascinating angle to this story is the historical context. Nutritional science was still relatively young in the mid-20th century. Vitamins had been discovered only in the early 1900s, and scientists were still figuring out how they all worked. By championing vitamin C's potential, Pauling was treading new ground. Because he was already so decorated, famously intellectual and outspoken, many expected that if Pauling was convinced of something, it must be correct. Others felt he'd stepped too far outside his area of expertise and was staking his reputation on shaky evidence. The ensuing clash was as much about scientific protocols as it was about personality and reputation. And yet, amid all the arguments, public interest in vitamin C supplementation soared. Even those who doubted some of Pauling's bolder claims couldn't ignore the possibility that there was more to vitamin C than met the eye. Complicating matters further, nutritional studies are notoriously challenging to design and interpret. Human diets are complex, and controlling all variables, foods, lifestyle, genetics, can be nearly impossible. An individual's daily baseline intake of vitamin C, for example, might vary greatly based on their diet. That alone introduces a layer of complexity when determining the effect of supplementation. Additionally, many immune-boosting claims that swirl around vitamin C in popular media are rarely tested under rigorous clinical conditions. Even the timing of supplementation in relation to the onset of symptoms can alter outcomes. Did Pauling exaggerate? Did he simply see an underexplored therapeutic avenue? The line between hype and hope has always been thin. Beyond the specifics of vitamin C, Pauling's approach underscores a broader concept: the idea that our bodies might be more responsive to high levels of essential nutrients than previously assumed. In essence, if the standard daily recommendations prevent deficiency, perhaps higher levels promote optimal function. That notion spurred a generation of researchers to investigate whether other vitamins or minerals might exhibit similar potentials when used in large doses. Today, debates rage about vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, and other micronutrients. In many ways, Pauling's controversial stance paved the way for these discussions, even if not everyone agrees on the final verdict for each nutrient. You might be asking, if vitamin C were truly so potent, why isn't it the go-to cure for everything under the sun? Why isn't the medical community unanimous in praising its virtues? The reality is more nuanced. Medicine aims to rely on reproducible, peer-reviewed research as a bedrock, and the studies on high-dose vitamin C have shown inconsistent, albeit sometimes promising, results. Furthermore, a cure-all is inherently suspicious to rigorous science. The phrase "kills diseases in 24 hours" sounds more like marketing than measured medical advice. At the same time, many practicing physicians do see potential in vitamin C supplementation, at least as a supportive measure. Some doctors use intravenous vitamin C in integrative oncology clinics as an adjunct to mainstream treatments. Others remain unconvinced or simply cautious, awaiting more extensive control trials. If you find yourself intrigued by the possibility of one spoon of vitamin C working wonders, consider that the form and dosage truly matter. Vitamin C powder, ascorbic acid, sodium ascorbate, liposomal forms, and intravenous administration each have unique absorption profiles and potential impacts. Some who try ascorbic acid discover that high doses can cause stomach upset. Others switch to buffered forms like sodium ascorbate to reduce acidity. Liposomal vitamin C is touted for its ability to increase absorption, while 4-vitamin C bypasses the gut entirely and can yield very high blood plasma levels. That level of nuance is lost in short news clips or sensational headlines. Yet it's key for anyone wanting to follow a Pauling-inspired regimen. Another dimension to the conversation is the synergy between vitamin C and other lifestyle factors. Even Pauling emphasized that proper nutrition, exercise, and avoidance of harmful habits are integral to good health. For instance, cigarette smoking severely depletes vitamin C in the body, so a smoker might need far more vitamin C to maintain the same baseline as a non-smoker. Similarly, stress and pollution could increase oxidative stress on the body, theoretically upping one's need for antioxidants. That begs the question, how many of the reported miracles are actually a synergy between multiple healthy habits, with vitamin C playing a key but not exclusive role? Let's take another imaginative leap. Picture you're on day 2 of a nasty flu, and you've decided to try the Pauling protocol, multiple grams of vitamin C spread throughout the day. Alongside that, you're careful with your diet, sipping herbal teas, resting, and maintaining a positive mindset. Is it the vitamin C working its wonders, or is it the combined effect of supportive self-care and hydration? This is where it becomes tricky to isolate cause and effect. However, many individuals might not care about the precise breakdown of which factor did what, as long as they feel better. And that's the heart of why so many people remain enthusiastic. Personal experience can sometimes trump ambiguous study findings. Before we delve further into the finer details, let me ask you a question. If you found a natural supplement that seemed, at least anecdotally, to speed your recovery from common illnesses significantly, would you use it regularly or be more inclined to trust conventional medical approaches alone? Share your viewpoint in the comments. It's a question that strikes at the core of how we balance mainstream science and alternative ideas, especially when both are in flux. Sometimes people find themselves blending conventional medicine for serious conditions with complementary practices they believe in, forming a hybrid approach that resonates with their personal philosophies. Returning to Linus Pauling's own story, it's fascinating to note that he took several grams of vitamin C daily for decades, claiming it helped him maintain a robust immune system well into old age. He lived to be 93, passing away in 1994, and his longevity became another anecdote fueling curiosity about his theories. Skeptics argue that one individual's lifespan proves nothing conclusive. Proponents counter that it's at least consistent with the possibility that Pauling was onto something about high-dose vitamin C and overall health. Often, this debate hinges on whether you place more weight on personal testimonials or on double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. Pauling was a man of science, but in his later years, he also championed a cause that mainstream medicine regarded with varying degrees of doubt. For anyone curious about trying the one spoon of this vitamin approach, there are practical considerations. Pauling frequently recommended doses that many people today would consider quite large, several grams per day. One spoonful of pure ascorbic acid powder can easily be 3 to 5 grams. The consequences might include gastrointestinal discomfort if you're not used to it, a sour taste that requires mixing with juice, and the necessity of spacing out doses. Additionally, certain medical conditions might necessitate caution. For instance, individuals with kidney problems or a tendency to form kidney stones may be advised to moderate high vitamin C intake. Always best to consult with a healthcare professional before major supplementation changes, especially if you're dealing with chronic illness. Still, the allure remains, and it's part of Pauling's legacy. A big reason is that the concept of a simple remedy resonates deeply with our inherent desire to find easy, natural solutions to complex health issues. People want to believe that there's a silver bullet, and one spoon is an unforgettable image of something that could potentially turn the tide so swiftly. Whether reality fully matches that image is another matter, but it's a testament to human hope and curiosity that we keep the discussion alive. One detail often overlooked in pop culture references to Pauling's work is that he advocated a comprehensive approach to health. While vitamin C was a star nutrient, he also supported the idea of high intakes of certain other vitamins, minerals, and amino acids if indicated. He believed wholeheartedly in the body's biochemical individuality, meaning that some people's genetic makeup might require far more of a nutrient than the next person's. In that sense, the shock and awe dose of vitamin C might be perfect for one person, but do little for another, or even cause digestive upset in a third. This individualized perspective is more subtle than the sweeping claim of one spoon kills diseases, but it's more in line with how real biology works. If you decide to delve into this territory, you might want to keep a journal of how you feel when adding high-dose vitamin C to your regimen. Track how often you get sick, how severe the symptoms are, and how long they last. Note any changes in your energy levels or skin health, or even how your joints feel, as vitamin C is crucial for collagen formation. This self-tracking approach provides insight into whether you personally respond well to the strategy. Additionally, you can experiment with various forms: chewable tablets, powders, extended-release capsules, or liposomal solutions. Each has a slightly different absorption profile, and finding what works best for your body can be a process of trial and error. Interestingly, mainstream medicine today does embrace the notion that vitamin C plays roles in immunity, wound healing, and overall health, but typically recommends modest supplementation rather than megadoses. Most official guidelines don't support the claim of rapid disease eradication. However, the gap between official recommendations and personal experimentation remains, leaving a huge space for individuals to test these methods on their own. The story of Linus Pauling and vitamin C is a compelling example of how science, personal belief, anecdotal evidence, and official consensus can intertwine in ways that leave the public simultaneously inspired and confused. So where does the 24-hour promise come in? Typically, that figure is a sensational marketing spin, deriving from stories of rapid turnaround in certain viral or bacterial infections. Some anecdotal cases describe how, after taking a spoonful of vitamin C at the first sign of a cold or flu, symptoms vanished within a day. These accounts, however, are not universal. For every success story, there's likely someone else who didn't notice dramatic effects. But the fact that these success stories exist keeps curiosity alive. It captures the imagination. What if this could work for me, too? To feed that imagination one step further, let's reveal a lesser-known angle near the conclusion of our journey. Something some enthusiasts swear heightens the vitamin's effect. There's a belief, not widely proven by rigorous science, but maintained by certain corners of alternative health communities, that combining vitamin C with a bioavailable source of copper or certain flavonoids like quercetin might enhance its impact even more. The idea stems from the interplay of micronutrients. Copper is involved in many enzymatic reactions, and quercetin has antioxidant properties that might synergize with vitamin C. In some formulations, you'll see them grouped together in supplements labeled immune boosters. While you won't find universal agreement in the medical literature, some believe this combination can make that spoon of vitamin C even more potent. It's another dimension in a story that's already replete with fascinating twists. Think of it as a puzzle that Pauling left for future generations. Perhaps the real key is not just vitamin C alone, but how it interacts with other compounds we ingest or produce. Or perhaps the puzzle is how to tailor each person's nutrient intake to their unique biochemical fingerprint. The search for that puzzle solution continues in labs around the world, though it hasn't made the same headline-grabbing splash as it once did. As we near the end of this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final question. If tomorrow you felt the onset of a cold or another common ailment, would you consider implementing a large-dose vitamin C approach to see if it helped you recover faster, or do you prefer to rely on more traditional remedies? Drop a comment sharing your stance. It's an ongoing conversation that highlights the tension between open-minded exploration and the cautious skepticism that underpins evidence-based medicine. Linus Pauling's shock and awe assertion about one spoon was partly a product of his relentless quest to empower individuals to take a more proactive role in their own health. His unwavering belief in vitamin C opened countless dialogues about the potential for optimal nutrition to guard against or mitigate diseases. The story he sparked is about more than a vitamin. It's about intellectual courage, debate, and the boundaries of scientific inquiry. While we may never get unanimous agreement on the ultimate validity of megadose vitamin C therapy, there's no denying that Pauling shaped the landscape of nutritional science profoundly. His ideas touched millions of lives, made people question the status quo, and, in many cases, motivated them to examine what they eat and how they care for their bodies. In a world overflowing with pharmaceutical interventions, Pauling's passion remains a reminder that nature's molecules have their own powerful roles in human health. Even if we can't definitively say that a single spoonful kills diseases in 24 hours, we can say that vitamin C's importance is undeniable. Its potential is still under study, and its champion was a man unafraid to question established norms. For that alone, the conversation he ignited is well worth continuing. After all, each discovery we make about something as simple as a vitamin can echo throughout all of medicine, possibly opening doors we didn't even know existed. And who knows, maybe someday science will reveal that Pauling was closer to the truth than most ever gave him credit for. Until then, the debate roars on, fueling both skepticism and hope, just as the best scientific controversies do.